Hey horse lovers, what Gina and I would like to talk to you about now is a little strategy that Linda Pirelli calls go and park. And the idea, or my understanding of the concept of this task or strategy development tool, if you will, is to teach my horse how to self-regulate. And what I mean by that is I want to know that if I hit the gas, that my horse goes, right? That the engine revs and they get in the wind, right? They get going. That I don't have to beg them for that. That go works. But I also want to know that if I ask her to turn and face, right? Disengage, turn and face, I also want to be able to put her in a parked position and watch the engine throttle back down, okay? So it might be a little interesting with Gina today. She's feeling pretty sensitive about the environment. It's a windy day, and we have been developing our ability to continue to act like partners when it's windy out. It's added difficulty is that it's cool out. It's in the 50s today, which is gorgeous, right? The sun is out, it's a nice breeze, but it is moving the trees and things like that, and it's making sounds that she finds a little bit nerve-wracking. But the good news is if I can get her to do this and throttle back on a day like today, then imagine how easy it will be on the days that are not so challenging, okay? So I think she can do it. She's still inside what I call her window of trainability. She's not relaxed and comfortable. She's not in her comfort zone. And I would like for her to be right now because we're standing here doing nothing. But I also don't feel like she's beyond her threshold for learning. I still feel like she's in there somewhere ready to try to figure out how for us to, advance our partnership versus like just looking for a way out, right? She's prone to flight more than fight, so she doesn't get argumentative usually. She just tries to get out of the situation. She tries to leave. But she hasn't done that in a really long time, but we'll see if I put a little pressure on her to hustle, she might change her mind. So I'm going to send her off in a little bit of a easygoing circle to start with, because it's not fair to just like all of a sudden hit the gas. I'm actually going to move away from this end of the arena a little bit because this is where she feels the most sensitive to the environment. So if we go back down here where she's closer to her buddies, right, the stall barn down here is where the rest of my herd is, I might have a better chance of this being a positive experience for her. Okay, so now we're in a good shape, right? She's showing signs of being a little bit more relaxed. I'm going to lift up here, and she got going. And I'm going to put some pressure on her to really hustle. See how she starts to pull on me there? Good. Now I'm going to disengage and ask her to park. And all I'm going to do is just keep putting her back in the parking spot until she can stay committed to that. She had a nice little sigh there. She licked and chewed right away. So I feel really good about all of that. But she's still processing. You can still see evidence of her trying to come off of a little bit of stress. The way she's breathing, the movement of her ears. There, we're starting to get committed to the halt. So I'm going to do this 2 more times. I like to play around with the rule of 3 when it comes to developing behavior. I can be a little bit rammy, so there we go. Just when I think I should ask for more, I tell myself, probably better wait just a moment longer. And almost every time I tell myself that, I'm always glad I did. So I don't know if you could see it, but she really started to blink a little slower there. Now she's staying a little more focused on me and not looking around quite so much. Still feel like there might be some processing happening. If I wait for her to fully reset her nervous system, then each attempt will build resilience. But if I ask her to go while she's still processing, that first attempt, the cycle doesn't get completed. And so it gets stuck in there, and she develops stress. I will literally be wiring her to be stressed rather than teaching her to be resilient. So I really want to make sure I thoroughly wait for her to reset. There we go. That's it. That's it. I'm pretty sure that was a fly that caused her to shake her head, but sometimes shaking her head is a way that she's completing the cycle. If they take a deep breath, a nice big sigh, a lick and a chew. Now, she licked and chewed right away. I'm watching her ears, the way she's blinking, whether or not there's tension in her mouth and nostrils. And sometimes you can even see like little vibrations in the nostrils and in the lips. That's the cycle working itself out. And if I allow it to come to a satisfying resolution, I think we're getting there, then I'll build resilience. But if I'm too rammy and skip ahead and get greedy, then instead what I'll do is wire her to be stressed. Okay, I think we can go again. So I'm going to rev the engine slowly. That's it. There we go. Pretty good rev. And then I'm going to disengage. And ask her to stay out there, even though it's not a really good camera angle. And she's licking and chewing right away, so that lets me know I didn't stress her too hard, which is good. I don't want to. But if you can't see it, obviously, because you're behind her, but the muscles on her chest are vibrating. So I have to wait here until all of that goes away. It could take several minutes. She needs to process the whole thing and realize something that she thought might be dangerous wasn't. Moderate exposure to stress, wherein your partner feels like they have agency, right? That I'm paying close attention and that what she's telling me is getting to me, right? That I understand what she's saying here. I notice that the muscles on your chest are vibrating, and until that calms down, I won't ask for anything more. With horses, agency comes from feeling understood. She can't feel like she has a say in anything if she thinks that I don't get it, that I don't speak her language, or that I'm not observant enough to notice that she's still processing and needs a bit of time. It wasn't so very long ago that there would be no way she could stand here parked like that. The vibrating on her chest has lessened, but it's still there a little bit. There's still some processing happening. There we go. She just took a deep breath. She's trying to complete it. That's good. So I didn't feel like she was leaving the parking spot there. I feel like she was just getting her feet in a place where she could stand more balanced. That's a girl. You got it. That's a girl. There's still some processing happening. You can actually see the vibration on her nostrils too right now. There we go. It's starting to calm now. Everything's starting to calm. Getting closer, but still not quite there yet. She had some thought that just because I shifted my weight that I meant to come here, which she would love to do. She finds comfort in being near me, which is a good thing. But I also need her to realize that she can have access to her feel-good hormones anytime she wants, right? It doesn't require me. If I felt like she was beyond her threshold and that being near me would help her get herself together, of course I would provide that for her. But I feel like she is still in a spot where she's self-regulating. It's getting there. So I want to leave her to do it herself if she can. There you go. Again, I think she just shifted her weight. She's not leaving the parking spot there. Okay, I feel like all the skin vibrations have calmed. We'll do it one more time because I like the rule of 3 as a way to keep myself accountable for asking her for progress and not perfection. Yep. Rev the engine and now disengage. That was way better. She got to the disengaged part a lot faster. She's licking and chewing right away. You got it, kid. You might be able to see now. If you have a screen like your phone or a tablet where you can zoom in on her chest. You'll be able to see evidence of the stress in her nervous system and bloodstream right now. The way that I can prove to her that she can trust me is by observing those things and giving her time to process. If I got greedy or rammy here, I would lose a whole bunch of trust. I'm asking her to do a hard thing. This is a hard thing for her. I've never asked her to do this before. Revving the engine has never been a good thing for her. So I want her to, own her power and understand that she can do that in a way without having to be defensive or stressed about it. So we'll just wait here until there is more evidence that her nervous system has come back to neutral. Building resilience isn't about avoiding stress. It's about being systematic and deliberate with our exposure to stress. Again, the exposure needs to be moderate. Oh, good. And a lick and chew. The exposure needs to be moderate, right? So I didn't ask her to do anything today that was beyond her capacity, right? Outside of her capabilities. But I also did ask her to try something that she might think is a little bit hard. So, the important thing to remember is wait for the nervous system to completely return to neutral, okay? There has to be evidence that you've revved the engine, and it's important that when you ask them to park, the park part, that you stay parked until the nervous system returns to neutral, however long that takes. I hope you found that helpful.